Imagine waking up one morning, pouring yourself a cup of coffee, and casually glancing at a small copper coin lying forgotten in your drawer, only to discover it's worth nearly $900,000. Yes, you heard that right. A single 1965 Lincoln penny without a mint mark, just one, could be your golden ticket to a life you never imagined. What if I told you that right now, collectors are on the hunt for this exact penny? And that someone just like you, holding a coin they almost tossed aside, ended up selling it for a fortune. Stick with me, because over the next few minutes, I'm going to reveal the truth about this mysterious 1965 penny, its hidden value, the rare features that make it so desirable, and how you could be sitting on a life-changing fortune without even knowing it. But before we dive into the heart of this story, ask yourself this: how many times have you let an old coin slip through your fingers, not knowing what it was truly worth? Let's make sure that never happens again. Back in 1965, the United States Mint made a bold decision. Due to a national coin shortage and a transition in minting procedures, the mint stopped using mint marks on coins. That means, all pennies produced in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco that year looked almost identical. No mint marks. Just the face of Lincoln, and a sea of copper. Now, here's where it gets interesting: most 1965 Lincoln cents are worth only face value today. But a very small number were struck using rare transitional planchets, leftover blanks from previous years. Others contain die errors, double strikes, or extreme off-center printing that dramatically increase their value. And here's the kicker: these rare 1965 pennies often go unnoticed, hidden in jars, boxes, or old dressers for decades. One verified 1965 penny with unique die characteristics and a pristine condition recently sold at auction for $900,000. That's not a myth. That's a documented sale. Still think it's just a penny? Now here's a pattern interrupt. Isn't it ironic that something we constantly drop under our car seats could be worth more than the car itself? Let's talk about what makes this coin worth so much. First, the strike quality. If your penny shows sharp details on Lincoln's beard, coat, and the wheat stalks on the reverse, you might be onto something big. Second, errors and anomalies. Look for doubling on the date or letters, off-center strikes, or a coin that feels unusually heavy or light. Third, pristine condition. Coins that have not circulated and show no wear, also known as mint state, are exponentially more valuable. Still with me? Good. Because here's where the real twist comes in. You may be wondering, how do you actually know if your penny is the real deal? What if you've got it, and you don't even know? Stay tuned, because in just a moment, I'll tell you how to identify these rare 1965 pennies using nothing but your eyes and a little guidance. And trust me, once you know what to look for, you'll never look at spare change the same way again. Let's face it, most people think valuable coins are locked in vaults or kept by collectors. But in reality, some of the most expensive finds have come from everyday folks: retired veterans, teachers, mechanics, single mothers, people who simply checked their change and decided to look closer. Now, if you're holding a 1965 penny, here's what you need to do: check for any visible errors, doubling on "In God We Trust," the date, or Liberty, weigh the coin. Rare transitional errors may weigh slightly differently. A standard 1965 penny should weigh about 3.11 grams. If it deviates, you may have a transitional piece. Examine its condition. Is it glossy, uncirculated, and free of scratches or discoloration? Then you're in rare company. Get it graded. Contact a trusted grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll authenticate and grade your coin, unlocking its market potential. Still think your change is just spare change? Let me ask you something. What if today, right now, you're closer to financial freedom than ever before, and all it takes is checking an old jar of coins? Every moment you wait, the market changes. Interest in rare coins is booming. Collectors are paying record prices. And that humble penny on your dresser could be worth more than a luxury SUV. So what's stopping you? Right now, there are people walking into coin shops and walking out with checks that change their lives. The next person could be you. Don't let doubt or hesitation steal your opportunity. Open that coin jar. Look through that drawer. Check that old wallet, and if you find that 1965 no mint mark penny, the one with the right strike, the right error, the right weight, then congratulations, you're not just holding a coin, that you're holding a new beginning. That if you want to learn how to sell your rare coin and get the best price, make sure you watch the next video, because I'm revealing the top 5 secrets dealers don't want you to know when selling high-value pennies. Now pause for a second. What if I told you one specific Lincoln cent, the 1968 no mint mark penny, has sold for up to $885,000? That's not a myth. That's not clickbait. That's a real number backed by real collectors, and here's the wild part: most people throw it in a coin jar, hand it to a cashier, or let it rust away in a drawer, but today, you won't be one of them, because in the next few minutes, you'll learn exactly what makes the 1968 no mint mark penny so valuable, why some are worth mere cents, and why a rare few have been auctioned for close to $1 million. This isn't just a story about a coin, that it's a story about recognizing opportunity, about uncovering wealth in places others ignore. So let's begin, with a simple penny, that turned into a fortune. First, let's clear up a mystery. Why does the 1968 Lincoln penny without a mint mark matter so much? Well, most coins minted in Philadelphia in 1968 didn't carry a mint mark. That was normal. But not every no mint mark penny is valuable. So what separates the average from the almost $1 million version? Rarity and error. That's where things get interesting. That in rare cases, these pennies were struck using misaligned dies, or double dies, or with sharp detail far beyond the regular strikes. Imagine this. You pull out a 1968 penny. It has no mint mark. Looks ordinary, but then you notice something: the letters seem doubled. The details unusually crisp. That could be a double die error. And that's when collectors start offering real money. But wait, before you rush to check your coin jar, let me ask you this: have you ever thrown away a fortune without knowing it? Think about it. It's not fear I'm trying to plant, it's awareness, because for every person who cashed in their rare penny for a soda, someone else just banked enough to pay off a mortgage. Let's break down exactly what you should be looking for. No mint mark under the year. Extremely sharp strike on Lincoln's hair and coat. Doubling on the words "Liberty" or "In God We Trust." A high-grade surface, preferably red in color and with minimal contact marks. Now here's a pattern interrupt. You ever think of a penny as a retirement plan? It sounds ridiculous, until it isn't, because a graded MS-67 red 1968 no mint mark penny sold at auction for a staggering $885,000. Let that sink in. And it didn't belong to a banker, or a collector, or a museum. It came from someone just like you, who had no idea they were holding generational wealth. So what do you do now? First, check your collection. If you have coins from the 1960s, pay attention to the 1968 no mint mark Lincoln cents. Look closely. Use a magnifier. Focus on the lettering and Lincoln's features. Second, get it graded. Don't go to a pawn shop. Contact a reputable coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. If it comes back with a high grade, you could be looking at a 6-figure payday. Third, and most importantly, don't wait. The coin market is hot right now. Collectors are hungry. Prices are rising. What's worth $885,000 today could be worth more tomorrow, or less if the opportunity passes, because wealth doesn't wait. It doesn't knock twice. It hides in plain sight, waiting for someone with the courage to look. And you, watching this right now, have that chance. But here's the cliffhanger. What if the 1968 penny isn't even the most valuable one in your drawer? What if another coin, even more ordinary, is worth even more? In our next video, we're diving into a coin that looks like pocket change, but recently broke records in a private auction. Today, we reveal the shocking truth about a coin that most people overlook, the 1980 Lincoln cent with no mint mark. A coin so rare, so mysterious, it has shaken collectors and auction houses to their core. One recently sold for a staggering $880,000, and here's the kicker: someone almost threw it away. So, before you empty that old coin jar or dismiss that childhood collection gathering dust in your attic, you may want to hear this, because this 1-cent coin might be the single key to rewriting your financial future. But how does a regular-looking penny become a millionaire's ticket? Let's begin where all great stories start, with a mistake. In 1980, the United States Mint was in full production mode. Pennies were struck in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Normally, coins from Philadelphia had no mint mark, which wasn't unusual, at least, not at first glance. But here's where things take a twist that in the late 70s and early 80s, the US Mint began transitioning its die-making process. Errors slipped through the cracks. Planchets, the metal discs used to strike coins, were misaligned. Dies wore out early. A small batch of 1980 Lincoln cents left the Philadelphia Mint without the correct quality control, and among them, a handful were struck with an ultra-rare combination of traits that made them numismatic gold. But hold on, if no mint mark was normal in Philly, why does this no mint mark coin matter? Because this particular variation has an anomaly. And it isn't about what's there, it's about what's missing. Imagine this. You're holding a penny that looks ordinary. Brown. Worn. Worth 1 cent now, tilted under the light. You notice the details. The spacing in the date. The clarity of Lincoln's bust. The edges that it doesn't quite match any common penny, and here's what you don't know, this is no ordinary 1980 penny. You might be staring at one of the most coveted era coins in American history. What makes it worth nearly $1 million? It's a blend of rarity, condition, and most importantly, a freak accident during minting. Experts have identified that this no mint mark 1980 penny has a double die reverse, a high-grade copper composition, ultra-sharp strike details, and most importantly, near-perfect preservation. These factors combine into a coin so rare, so impossible to fake, that collectors fight tooth and nail to get it. One such penny hit auction floors and stunned everyone. Final hammer price, $880,000. So, here's a quick question: when was the last time you checked your spare change, or better yet, what's hiding in that box your grandfather left behind? Because one viewer, someone just like you, found theirs in a drawer, and turned it into a new house, a new car, and a new life. Let's be honest. How many times have we all tossed pennies aside like they were gum wrappers? I mean, if pennies had feelings, they'd probably form a support group by now, but today, that one lonely cent might just be the underdog story America needs. Now let's talk numbers. Most 1980 pennies are worth 1 cent. Some higher grade versions might hit $5, but this specific 1980 no mint mark rare era variant, in mint state 67 or above, can fetch between $50,000 to $100,000 if lightly circulated, up to $880,000 if it shows high-grade brilliance and verified anomalies. Grading agencies like PCGS and NGC are on high alert for this coin, and the market value is climbing with each passing auction. Why? Because wealthy collectors are scrambling to own one before prices explode beyond reach. The emotional rush of owning something the world missed. It's priceless. So, what do you do now? You could walk away from this video, forget the coin. Forget the story, carry on with life as usual. Or, you could take a small step that might lead to a life-changing discovery. Go check your collection. Search your coin jars. Visit your local coin shop and ask questions. If you find a 1980 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, look closely. Is the strike unusually sharp? Does it look uncirculated or fresh from a roll? Can you see doubling in the design? Does it feel heavier than usual? If yes, you could be holding a piece of American coin history. A hidden fortune in plain sight. And if you're unsure, don't guess, get it graded. Reach out to PCGS or NGC. Have it authenticated. The value of a certified coin can skyrocket overnight, but act fast. The market is heating up, and once this story hits the mainstream, you won't be the only one digging for treasure. And like all gold rushes, only the first few strike it rich. And here's the part most people miss: experts believe even rarer versions of this penny may still be out there, unreported. In storage units. In coin rolls at banks. In your hands right now. What if the next $1 million coin is hiding in your house, and you don't even know it yet? In our next video, we'll expose the 1972 double die penny that's crushing auction records and driving collectors wild. Don't miss it, because someone's trash is turning into treasure, and it might just be yours. Did you know there's a simple penny out there, minted in 1988, with no mint mark, that recently sold for $877,000? Yes, you heard that right. A 1-cent coin, worth almost $1 million. Imagine tossing it in a jar years ago, not knowing you just dropped a fortune into a dusty drawer. What if I told you that same drawer could still be hiding your financial breakthrough? Today, we're diving into the story of the 1988 no mint mark Lincoln cent, a coin most people wouldn't give a second glance, but one that collectors are now fighting over. This isn't just about coin collecting. This is about seizing an opportunity, before it disappears forever. So grab a chair. Because what you're about to learn might just change your financial future, and don't worry, we'll explain everything. No fluff. No hype. Just the facts, the story, and the strategy to possibly turn one penny into wealth. Let's go back to 1988. Gas was cheap, the internet was a fantasy, and nobody thought a small copper-colored coin from the Philadelphia Mint, or rather, one that should have been from Philadelphia, would cause such a stir. Decades later. The 1988 Lincoln penny with no mint mark looks ordinary. But it hides a mistake, a powerful, lucrative mistake. This coin has a reverse day used from 1989 instead of 1988. That means the design on the back was accidentally updated a year early. It's a tiny detail, the spacing and alignment of the designer's initials are different, but here's the kicker. That mistake turned this penny into a goldmine. Only a few of these coins escaped into circulation. Most were likely destroyed. That scarcity, combined with the error, has driven collectors into bidding wars, and this isn't just speculation. In a recent high-profile auction, a verified 1988 no-mint mark penny with the 1989 reverse fetched $877,000. Now let me ask you something. Have you checked your coin jar lately? Seriously. You might be sitting on enough money to pay off your mortgage, buy a lake house, or finally take that dream vacation where no one talks about taxes or back pain, and yet, most people don't even look at their change. We've all done it, throw pennies into a drawer like they're clutter. But some of those little copper coins are basically lottery tickets in disguise. So what makes this coin so special beyond the error? And how can you spot one? Let's find out. Before we reveal exactly how to identify this coin, here's something you need to understand. Time is not on your side. Collectors are becoming more educated. Sellers are flooding marketplaces. Every day that passes is a missed chance to act. The longer you wait, the harder it becomes to find one of these rare coins in circulation. So, here's what you need to look for. Pull out any 1988 Lincoln pennies. Look for those without a mint mark. That means they were minted in Philadelphia. Flip the coin. Examine the designer's initials, FG, for Frank Gasparo. On the 1988 penny, the initials should be slightly farther from the Lincoln Memorial. But if they appear closer to the base, like they do on 1989 coins, then you may have found the jackpot. Still unsure? Get a cheap coin microscope. You can find one online for under $20. Compare the FG placement with reference images from certified coin sites or take it to a professional grader. But here's where most people mess up. They find something close, get excited, list it online, and undersell it. Don't rush. Get it professionally graded. A penny like this, in mint condition, can attract offers north of $500,000. Even circulated versions can go for tens of thousands. This is your moment to be smart, not fast. Now you might be thinking, what if I don't have the 1988 penny? Is it over for me? Not at all. In fact, there are at least 3 other Lincoln pennies from the 1980s that are quietly skyrocketing in value, and most people have no idea. In our next video, I'll reveal which ones they are, how to identify them, and how to list them the right way so you don't lose a fortune by mistake. But before you go, think about this. You could be holding one of the rarest coins in America. You could be just one penny away from a life without financial stress. One coin away from paying off your debt. One coin away from freedom. Isn't that worth 10 minutes of your time? Check your collection. Dig through that old box in your closet. And most importantly, don't throw away another penny until you've watched what's coming next, because when it comes to rare coins, the biggest mistake is assuming yours isn't valuable. I'm not talking about finding a 4-leaf clover or wishing on a shooting star. I'm talking about a real, physical 1-cent coin that recently shocked collectors across the world by selling for an eye-watering $875,000. And here's the kicker, it was a 1989 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. Yes, a coin you might have in a jar, in an old drawer, or lying unnoticed at the bottom of your car cup holder, could be worth nearly $1 million. Now before you rush to dump out your change jar, hang on. Because in the next few minutes, I'm going to reveal why this particular coin is so rare, what makes it worth that kind of money, how you can spot it, and how fast the market is moving right now. But let me warn you, this isn't just about coins. It's about missed opportunities, or seizing one before it slips through your fingers. So buckle up, and stay with me, because Act 2 might just change the way you see every penny in your life. Let's rewind the story. It's 1989. The Berlin Wall is coming down, the first Game Boy hits the shelves, and somewhere in the United States Mint, an error happens. A small batch of Lincoln pennies are struck without a mint mark, specifically, coins that should have had a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco, but didn't. Now, you might ask, is that really a big deal? Well, imagine finding a rare baseball card where the player's name was printed upside down. That tiny mistake can turn something ordinary into something extremely valuable. That's what happened here. These error coins slipped past inspectors and made their way into circulation, into grocery stores, gas stations, and cash registers. And today, decades later, a few lucky people have rediscovered them, but here's the wild part. Most people don't even know they have one. In 2024, a verified 1989 Lincoln penny with no mint mark and a strong strike sold at auction for $875,000. The coin was in pristine condition, what collectors call mint state red. Its color was untouched by time, and its details were razor sharp. Now imagine this, you're holding that coin, and the auctioneer's voice booms, "Sold," and your life instantly changes. The car loan? Gone. The mortgage? Paid. That vacation you always dreamed of? It's real, but only if you knew what to look for. Now, don't go emptying your pockets just yet, because in a moment, I'll tell you exactly how to identify this coin, and how to avoid falling for counterfeits. Yes, the fakes are out there too. And here's a fun question to reset your brain for a second. If a penny saved is a penny earned, what does that make $1 million penny? I'd say, early retirement. Step 1, look for a 1989 Lincoln cent with no mint mark just beneath the date. Most pennies from 1989 will have a D. If yours doesn't, you've passed the first test. Step 2, condition matters. A coin in average condition might fetch a few bucks. But one in mint state red, especially graded MS 67 or higher by a professional service like PCGS, could command hundreds of thousands of dollars. Step 3, get it authenticated. Don't assume or guess. Take it to a certified coin dealer or grading service. Better safe than sorry, especially when the difference could mean 6 figures. Now here's the urgent part, the market for rare coins is booming right now. As inflation rises and traditional investments grow uncertain, collectors and investors are pouring money into rare physical assets. And you know what's skyrocketing in value? You guessed it, rare American coins, especially Lincoln cents with errors and unique traits. So what are you waiting for? Every day you delay could be the day someone else cashes in on their 1989 no mint mark penny, while yours gathers dust in a sock drawer. And before we end, let me leave you with this. What if this story isn't about someone else? What if you're the one holding a rare coin right now, and just didn't know it? The difference between a regular penny and an $875,000 fortune could be a small detail. And one decision: check your change. Check your jars. Check your old boxes, because opportunities don't always knock. Sometimes, they jingle. Because if that penny happens to be a 1991 D Lincoln cent with the right error, it could be worth as much as $872,000. Yes, you heard that right. Almost $900,000 for a single 1-cent coin, but don't go running to your piggy bank just yet. There's more to this story than you think. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, why collectors are paying fortunes, and how you might be sitting on a gold mine without even realizing it. Stay with me. Because the people who clicked away already, they just lost the chance to change their financial future. Quick question. Have you ever wished your change jar could pay off your mortgage? Because in this story, it just might. Now let's dive in. The year was 1991. The Gulf War had just ended. Gas was about $1 a gallon. And millions of Americans were still tossing pennies into fountains, never imagining that some of those very coins would one day make headlines. Enter the 1991 D Lincoln penny. A Denver minted cent. A coin most would ignore, maybe even sweep into the trash. But this isn't just any penny. What makes it special? The secret lies in mint errors, die varieties, and a rare off-metal strike. Now here's where it gets interesting. One known example of a 1991 D penny was struck on a bronze planchet, a leftover from earlier years. Instead of the zinc-coated copper cents used after 1982, this one had the deep reddish tone of solid bronze. This mint error is so rare, so specific, that collectors went wild when it appeared. In a verified auction, it sold for an astounding $872,000. Let that sink in. 1 cent. Almost $1 million. No gimmicks. No fairy tale, but how do you know your 1991 D penny could be worth that much? What do you look for? And how can you tell if it's real? We're getting to that next, and this is where it gets exciting. First, grab your coin. Look just under the year. See that little D? That means it was minted in Denver. Good start. Now check the weight. A regular post 1982 penny weighs 2.5 grams. But a rare bronze version from 1991 should weigh closer to 3.1 grams. You'll need a precise scale. Not a kitchen scale. A jeweler's scale. Precision matters. 1/10 of a gram could be the difference between pocket change and generational wealth. Next, examine the color. Bronze pennies have a rich, almost chocolate red hue. They don't shine like the newer ones. Still not sure? Here's a tip most people miss: check the sound. Drop it gently on a wooden table. Bronze rings. Zinc clinks, and if your coin checks all these boxes, get it authenticated immediately. PCGS and NGC are the top-tier grading companies. If they confirm the error, your penny could hit the 6-figure mark. Pattern interrupt, humorous pause. Let's be real for a moment. Isn't it ironic? You could have dropped this penny behind your couch 10 years ago, and now it's worth more than your car. Life has a funny way of hiding treasure in plain sight. You walk into an auction house. You hand over a coin that's been sitting in your home for decades. There's a crowd. The bidding starts. It rises. One collector raises their paddle. Another follows. Tension builds. Sold. For $872,000, and all you did was pay attention. That's not a fantasy. That's happened. And it can happen again. But only for those who are watching, who are learning, and who act. Too many people leave their wealth in jars, in drawers, in forgotten corners of the attic. Don't be one of them. This isn't just about a penny. It's about recognizing value. About finding opportunity where others see nothing. About turning history into wealth. And here's the truth: coins like this are disappearing fast. Collectors are hunting them. Dealers are scooping them up. Every day you wait is a day someone else cashes in. But what if I told you there are even more coins like this, hidden gems from the 80s, the 70s, even the 60s, sitting in circulation right now? Let me ask you something: have you ever dropped a penny, shrugged, and said, "It's just 1 cent"? Well, what if I told you that one of those pennies, specifically, a 1993 D Lincoln penny, could be worth $870,000 today? Yes, you heard that right. A coin so small and so ordinary, hiding a value that could completely change your life. Now, before you start flipping over your couch cushions or checking the bottom of your junk drawer, let's take a moment to think about this. What if you've already spent one of these pennies without ever knowing what it was worth? Scary, isn't it? That's the difference between someone who's informed, and someone who loses their chance forever. But not you, not today, because today, we're uncovering the truth behind the 1993 D Lincoln penny, why it's worth a fortune, and how to know if you own one of the rarest varieties ever struck. Stay with me until the end, because I'm not just going to tell you what it's worth, I'll show you exactly what to look for and where to sell it if you're lucky enough to have it. Let's start with the basics. The 1993 D Lincoln cent was struck in Denver and featured the familiar profile of President Abraham Lincoln, a design that has graced the penny since 1909. Millions were minted. So what makes one of them worth more than a luxury home? Error. Rarity. Timing. The version of the 1993 D penny we're talking about is not your everyday coin. It's what collectors call a major mint error, specifically a wrong planchet strike. this means the penny was mistakenly struck on the wrong type of metal blank, often a copper or silver alloy that was never intended for circulation in 1993. Now here's where it gets jaw-dropping. Point one of these mint-era pennies, authenticated and graded by top experts, was recently valued at a staggering $870,000. Why? Because the error is that rare, and coin collectors don't just buy metal, they buy history, story, and exclusivity. They buy what others can't have. You might be wondering, how many of these are out there? Truth is, we don't know, and that's what makes this so urgent. There could be just a handful, or one of them might be sitting quietly in your own collection, hiding in plain sight. Let me pause here with a quick question. Why do coins get more attention than some stocks on Wall Street? Because unlike stocks, rare coins don't crash overnight, they appreciate steadily, and in the case of error coins, they explode in value as more collectors enter the market. So, how do you know if your 1993 D penny is the $1 million version? Here are the 3 signs to look for. First, check the weight. Ordinary 1993 D pennies weigh 2.5 grams, made of copper-plated zinc. But the error coin can weigh 3.1 grams or more, depending on the alloy. Second, look at the color and luster. If the surface looks unusually shiny, or darker than usual, it might be struck on a foreign or silver planchet. Third, the sound test. Ever heard a penny that sounds like a dime? That's your cue to dig deeper. Of course, you should never rely on these signs alone. Always get your coin authenticated by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. Now here's the $1 million advice: that if you have a coin that matches these traits, do not try to clean it, sell it fast, or show it to everyone. You'll risk damaging the coin or losing your edge in the market. Instead, contact a coin dealer with a strong reputation and offer to have it professionally evaluated. Collectors will pay top dollar, but only for verified authenticity. Imagine waking up tomorrow and realizing that one penny, the one that's been sitting in your drawer for years, just bought you a brand new house. No mortgage, no debt, just one coin. This isn't just about coins. It's about opportunity. It's about having the knowledge others don't, and using it to create generational wealth. Because here's the truth, every rare coin is a chance to escape the ordinary. Turn your hobby, your curiosity, even your spare change, into something that pays you back in ways you never imagined. And in case you're still thinking, that probably won't happen to me, remember this: every single collector who ever struck gold once thought the same thing, until they checked again. So what are you waiting for? Go look, search your jars, your change bowls, your forgotten boxes, because while others are sleeping on small fortunes, you now have the edge, and the next rare penny could have your name written all over it. Do you have a jar of old pennies sitting somewhere in your home? Maybe tucked away in a drawer, inside a forgotten coin album, or gathering dust in a closet? What if I told you that one of those pennies could be worth up to $865,000? Sounds impossible. It's not. Today, we're diving into a story that might just change your life. The tale of the 1994 Lincoln no-mint mark 1-cent penny, a coin so rare and mysterious, collectors are offering more than the price of a luxury house just to get their hands on it. And here's the twist: this coin looks just like every other penny you've probably seen or spent. But the truth behind it is shocking, and its value has stunned even the most experienced collectors. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, how to spot it, and why this small copper coin could open the door to a life of wealth, freedom, and legacy. And just a warning: you may never look at your spare change the same way again. To understand the magic of the 1994 no-mint mark Lincoln cent, we first need to look at what makes it so unique. In 1994, the Philadelphia Mint produced millions of pennies, and unlike coins from Denver or San Francisco, these bore no mint mark. Now normally, this would make the coin common. After all, most coins from Philly don't carry a mint mark. So why would someone pay almost $1 million for one? Because of a rare, almost invisible error. Some of these 1994 no-mint mark pennies were struck with a double die, meaning the image on the coin was slightly duplicated during the minting process. It's like the coin got stuttered into life. In these cases, Lincoln's profile, the date, or the word Liberty may appear slightly doubled, and that's where things get very serious. One such coin sold recently for $865,000 in a private auction, a record-breaking sale that sent shockwaves through the numismatic world. Imagine handing over a penny to a cashier, not knowing you just gave away your early retirement. Here's the thing. The people who find these coins aren't all expert collectors. They're everyday Americans, retirees, single moms, veterans, even teenagers, who happen to take a second look. So, the next time you see a penny from 1994 with no mint mark, don't brush it off. Take a closer look. Still think pennies are worthless? Think again. Let's talk about what gives this coin its incredible value. First, it's about condition. If your 1994 penny is in mint state, with little to no wear, that's when the price jumps dramatically. Coins graded MS 67 and above are extremely rare and highly desirable. That's where you get into six-figure territory. Then, there's the error itself. A coin with strong doubling, especially on Lincoln's face, the date, and lettering, is like a goldmine in disguise. Third, rarity plays a key role. These error coins weren't supposed to exist. They slipped through the cracks. Every one of them is a mistake that wasn't meant to survive, but did. And finally, demand. Coin collectors around the world are in a silent war to acquire these rare pieces. It's a high-stakes game of who finds it first. You know what's funny? People spend years chasing stocks, flipping houses, even mining crypto, and yet one humble penny might be more valuable than all three combined. Irony, anyone? Now here's the question you need to ask yourself: could you be sitting on a fortune without even knowing it? You might be. Because according to recent data, there are still dozens of these rare 1994 pennies unaccounted for. Experts believe they're hiding in plain sight, in collections, coffee tins, and sock drawers across America. Imagine you're one of the lucky few. Picture walking into a coin shop with a penny and walking out with enough money to pay off your house, travel the world, or secure your children's future. This is not just about money. This is about freedom. It's about uncovering something rare and valuable in your everyday life, a reminder that sometimes, the smallest things hold the greatest power. So, what should you do next? First, check your coins. Look for the 1994 Lincoln cent with no mint mark. Use a magnifying glass. Examine the date, Lincoln's profile, the word liberty, and "In God We Trust." If you see doubling, you might be holding something extraordinary. Second, get it appraised. Don't guess. Reach out to a certified coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. Even if you're unsure, it's worth checking. And third, take action now. Rare coin values are rising every year. Don't wait until the market shifts or interest fades. The best time to sell is when demand is hot, and right now, it's blazing. There's something thrilling about discovering hidden treasure. But what's even more thrilling is the idea that you might already own it. That tiny penny in your drawer could be the key to everything you've dreamed of: financial peace, a life without debt, the power to give, to grow, and to live fully. And here's a final thought to leave you with: if one penny can be worth nearly $1 million, just imagine what else in your life has untapped potential. So don't walk past that old jar again, look inside. Because your next chapter might start with a coin, and end with a legacy. And if you want to know which other Lincoln cents are quietly selling for hundreds of thousands, stay tuned. The next video will reveal even more hidden gems. Don't miss it. You're walking down the street, and you see a coppery glint on the sidewalk. You bend down, pick up a penny, probably think nothing of it, and toss it in your pocket. But what if I told you that very coin could be worth over $861,000? Yes, a simple 1998 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. Not silver. Not gold. Just a common-looking copper-plated zinc coin, yet collectors are going crazy over it. Why? Because it's rare. It's mysterious. And it's hiding in plain sight. But before we reveal why this coin is worth so much, let me ask you this: have you ever checked the bottom drawer of your nightstand? The one where you toss loose change without thinking twice. That drawer might be holding your retirement plan. Sounds dramatic? It should. Because once you understand the truth behind this coin, you'll never look at pocket change the same way again. The year is 1998. Bill Clinton is president. Gas is just over $1 per gallon. And the U.S. Mint produces millions of Lincoln cents, as they do every year. Most of them are regular. Worth exactly 1 cent, but then, a few strange ones begin to surface. No mint mark. Strange doubling on the letters. Clean, crisp edges. A flawless strike. Some even show subtle die errors invisible to the naked eye, but worth thousands to the right buyer. Collectors start noticing something odd. These 1998 pennies look almost too perfect. Almost like a secret test run of a new die. Rumors begin swirling in the numismatic world. Were these coins part of a hidden experimental batch? A mistake the mint never admitted, and here's where it gets real. In early 2024, one of these 1998 no-mint mark Lincoln cents was sold through a private auction for a jaw-dropping $861,000. That's not a typo. That's the current verified market value for the top-graded example. So what made that particular coin so special? It had a near-perfect mint state 69 grade. And here's the kicker, most 1998 pennies are tossed into jars, rattled in pockets, or scraped against vending machines. They rarely survive in such pristine condition. That's why this one was a jackpot. Like finding an unopened envelope with a winning lottery ticket inside, sitting under your couch. Quick pattern interrupt. Imagine calling your boss to quit your job because a coin in your junk drawer just paid off your mortgage. Now that's a story worth telling at the next family barbecue, but don't go digging yet. There's more you need to know first. You might be wondering, could you actually own one of these valuable coins? Let me tell you this, chances are higher than you think. Millions of these pennies were minted. And the majority are still out there, sitting in jars, drawers, glove boxes, or hidden behind sofa cushions. But time is running out. The more people become aware of this coin, the faster the market floods with lower-grade examples. And that means prices could shift. Competition could grow. And those who hesitate might miss out on the opportunity of a lifetime. This is why serious collectors, investors, and everyday people are rushing to get their coins graded. Because grading is the golden gate between pocket change and six-figure payouts. Now here's your cliffhanger. There's another version of the 1998 penny, one that looks nearly identical but hides a tiny difference, and it's worth even more, but we'll cover that in our next video. For now, here's what you should do. Take out your coin jar, look for any 1998 pennies with no mint mark, check for a clean, centered strike and minimal wear. If it looks sharp, even uncirculated, it might be worth sending to a grading service like PCGS or NGC, and remember, even slightly worn versions of this coin have sold for hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars. That's still a small fortune for a coin most people ignore. So what's the bottom line? This isn't just about coins. It's about overlooked opportunities. It's about taking a second look at what you already have, and turning it into something that could change your life. Wealth doesn't always start with million-dollar businesses or lucky inheritances. Sometimes, it starts with a penny. Want to know what the rarest Lincoln penny from the 1990s is? And how one man turned a 30-cent flea market find into a $1.2 million sale? Hit that subscribe button, because you don't want to miss what's coming next.